Don't laugh. I hear you snarking back there. Welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I am Scott Ramp, and right next to me is Joshua Minnie.
Yes, it is me, Josh Minnie, here to talk to you about Wake Up Missoula.
Okay, talk about Wake Up Missoula.
To talk to you. Well, you know.
Wake Up Missoula is a local morning show. It's a hyper-local morning show.
Hyper-local morning show.
What days are it on?
It's on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays from 8 to 8:30, and then it's on repeat from 8:30 to 9.
Or sometimes we even have it from 8 to 8:45. I think one of our longest shows were like 50 minutes long.
Yes. We sometimes go over the half an hour, and, perhaps we will have an hour-long show at some point. It's in the works. It's in the works. People are talking about it.
People are talking about it.
There's rumors.
Like my mom.
Yeah.
So I want to, speaking of scheduling, next Monday is Memorial Day, and we will not be on Monday morning. So
we will not be on.
If you're waiting to watch first on Monday morning, forget about it. Oh, and speaking of which, Noel's not here.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it seems as though when Josh is gone, we always mention that, Josh is not here this evening. But we never mention that Noel's not here.
This evening.
I think that's kind of mean. This evening.
This morning.
This morning. Yeah.
But
Noel's not here.
Noel's not here. She's in Sasquatch,
which is a huge music festival at the Gorge in Washington.
Yes.
If you know what the Gorge is, well, I'm right there with you.
Yes. Well, she's going to be doing some video recording of Sasquatch. So hopefully when she gets back, we'll get to see some highlights from her time spent there.
But if she doesn't, it's no big deal, because I gave her a charged camera, and it works with an Android plug-in on the back of it. But I'm not sure if it's even gonna work.
Okay.
I mean, like, it might work for like half an hour. It's like, the battery died, and it's like.
And then
and then
Then there's no point. But maybe we'll have some video from there.
She can go on top of the Gorge.
I'm sure she'll try. Knowing Noelle, I'm sure she'll try to get some good video.
Yeah. We have. We were supposed to have a guest today. He's the big guy. What was his name again?
Chuck Bartlebaugh from Be Bear Aware is supposed to be here, but we haven't seen him yet walk into the MCAT studio, so he looks like he might not be showing up for today's show. But we will have an interview with Sergeant Edmondson, hopefully. We've got his number. We're going to give him a call. He's going to talk about if he's going to talk about buckling up and seatbelt safety. Yeah.
Yep. And another thing I want to talk about is summer camps. Big surprise there. Summer camps are happening. If you have a little kid you want to get out of the house, it's $100 for the whole week. Our last camp is $125 because it's a special advanced camp.
Advanced camp. Yes.
Where we all come together for one single project and one single purpose. But of course, there's probably a bunch of mini movies along the way as well. But it's basically kids get to learn how to make fun, enjoyable, professional movies.
It's not just for kids, because we had an elderly lady here.
Yes, we have. We work through a program through Missoula Asian Services called Adopt a Grandparent, and one of the ladies
was great. I remember her. I don't. Pauline, yeah.
And we have summer camps from June 16th through the 20th, July 7th through the 11th, July 28th through August 1st. Media camp, animation camp, and movie making camp. A
lot of fun, folks. Get your kids involved.
Yep. And you must be 9 to 13.
9 to 13.
Well, we've made exceptions.
You can bend a little bit.
We have a 14-year-old this year too.
Okay.
So they're filling up quite quickly. Animation camp, eight spots out of 12 kids already.
Wow.
But we might add another camp like we did last year.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just like in terms of MCAT news, I'm going to be showing an interview that Josh did with Mr. Matt Hassler himself.
Yes.
And why did he interview him?
Because of our show we're having this Saturday at Stage 112. The Hasslers are going to be there. Comatose Smile is going to be there. Boys are going to be there. And Hunter and the Gatherers. It's from 10 to 2 a.m. I believe the doors open at 8, but the show starts at 10, and it's going to be an awesome, obviously it's an awesome lineup of bands, but not only is it an awesome lineup of bands, we're going to be there with cameras, recording it, streaming it live on Gigi.
Kind of like a gigabyte,
like Gigi's a broadcasting, what would you call them, platform.
Yep,
and
they broadcast stuff, live streaming videos via their online store, and they have a lot of just great stuff that's going on as well. But be sure to check them out.
Yeah, so it's totally free. The event is totally free. It's 18 and up, so bring your IDs if you're a younger guy or woman, and you should definitely check it out. It's a great, diverse lineup of a lot of good rock, folk rock. What else would you say? Little mix of bluegrass in there, a little mix of little punk rock in there. It's going to be a real awesome time. Hootenanny, yeah, it's going to be rockin' time.
And here's the website. This is where you can find it. All you got to do is type in MCAT, and you get this little page right here, and you can find it. I'll go back. This is what you see. The event. You click on it, and here it is.
There it is, and you can watch it at Gigi.com.
Yep.
Giggity.
Yep. All right, thanks. Anyways, I want to talk a little bit about Megs. This is what's going to be on MCAT tonight, and here we go.
Bravo for being a part of this project as well, because really this whole thing is all about you as students, and the next generation of wilderness advocates, leaders, stewards, researchers, and just all around life adventurers. So with that, let's roll the film, Greg. Thanks.
Over the years that they can live and feed repeatedly and reproduce and lay eggs, they can have a high reproductive potential. But what's interesting about these ticks is that they're secretive, they're fast feeders. The ticks on the left will attach and feed for 6, 8, 10 days. The ticks on the right will climb on at night, they're nocturnal, they suck blood for 30 minutes and get off and go back to where they came from.
And speaking back where we came from, those are the two new episodes that will be showing tonight. And one of them is the Global Health and the Global South. That last one we just showed, and the one before is the Wilderness Issues Lecture Series.
Oh.
We've been putting on those collectively for more than 10 years.
That's great, Scott.
Just a lot of great programming, and it's towards the end of the season. Well, end of the lecture season, but we still have another month or so of these lectures to show on MCAT. So if you miss a lecture, there's a lot of interesting educational programming that we provide via MCAT.
Absolutely.
And you can find out all the information if you go to our website at mcat.org. And
go to mcat.org and
you can find our schedule, Channel 7, all the stuff that's going to be happening today. And there's a huge little calendar right here. And you can also watch now, and it'll show what's going on right now.
Very cool.
I'd push it, but what's going on right now is us.
Yeah. What's going on right now. But
and be sure to check us out on Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll be posting everything that we show here today on Facebook. So I digress. I'm going to show a little bit of word on the street. So
we had our very own Dylan. Do the word on the street. Yeah, you commissioned him to do word on the street. What did you tell him to ask people?
Well, the question is, what would you do with unlimited power and resources? And people were not only responsive, they were confused.
And we kind of generated this idea from talking to Lori, whose son wants to rule the world, right?
Yes.
Basically. So
a little shout out to his son.
Little
Kevin.
Shout out there.
All right, so here is word on the street.
Nothing. That's a really difficult question. Don't you realize that would require change in politics, change in the economy? Okay, I would only do this. This is the one thing I would change. Everybody love.
People's sexual freedom, doesn't maintain a good health when there's lots of sexual freedom is not good for a healthy society or healthy environment or healthy community. There should be a certain restrictions on that.
It is a great place as it is. Oh man, that's a heavy question.
Probably support more local businesses. Just because, I mean, I feel like it'd support more people that way, and nobody would be on top of local businesses. And yeah.
Share it with only the good people who would do good things with it, like buy chocolate for other people.
More city-funded addiction services.
Brad gathered information when she was with me and went back to the
Because there's a lot of homeless people around here, and a lot of young people that are addicted to the drugs that are available here in Missoula. And I feel that there were more resources that were offered to the homeless people, that we'd have a lot better outcome.
And create things that also help people.
Like with power, probably just give it away. In my opinion, it's the same as everybody else's. So I feel like everybody else would just disagree with me, and I would be hated for the name of power. So I'd give it away to people who I thought were leaders.
You know, it's like a fighting, it's a battle. People open battle with each other when they get involved in physically, you know. It's just not a healthy sign for a beautiful environment.
I don't think I would do anything actually. As weird and messed up as that sounds.
MCAT is putting on a free concert. Come down to Stage 112 and see bands The Hasslers, Boys, Hunter and the Gatherers, and Comatose Smile. Join us at Stage 112, Saturday the 24th at 10 p.m. to see your favorite bands. You must be 18 and over to attend.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to miss that PSA.
Yeah, that was a good one, Scott.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about city government. And the first thing that we've got on the agenda for our show here today is the Public Works meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So Doug Harvey talks about establishing sidewalks on 23rd Avenue from the Foothills Court to 55th Street. And they received a Safe Walks to School grant to put in these sidewalks. So let's hear about that.
City Engineering Development Services. Yeah, this is the, we've come forward with this project before. This is a project that's been on our docket for, well, 10 or 12, maybe 15 years. And we finally got to a point where it's economically feasible to do it with subsidy program, and we received an $80,000 Safe Routes to Schools grant. So this first phase of this project connects the South Hills Trail system. It starts down there in the parks north of Foothills Drive and goes all the way up to 55th. We're installing sidewalks on both sides. Right now, the street is 40 feet wide, back of curb to back of curb, and we have 5-foot sidewalk easements, but it was determined that complications due to driveway locations, fences, landscaping, and that sort of thing, that we would put the sidewalk essentially in the existing street prism. So what we're doing is we're removing the old curb, a portion of the asphalt, and putting the curbs and sidewalks where the asphalt was. That narrows the street down to 29 feet
Okay.
face.
So that's Doug Harvey talking about his plans to their plans to put in a sidewalk on this street. They got a safe walk to school grant, which was about $80,000.
Nice.
Yeah, but there is a homeowner who says the road is already too narrow and it's going to be hard for traffic to get through. So let's hear from this homeowner.
For the record, and then go ahead.
My name's Katie Corright. I actually recently purchased a property that's on Foothills Drive. It's a duplex uphill. Part of the problem I see with this is that part of the road in particular is extremely congested, and you don't find any property owners actually living there except for maybe me and one other resident. It's all rentals. By narrowing the street and creating a parking cluster, it is going to be a nightmare to navigate. Making it that much smaller is just going to be frustrating. I don't know if you notice I have a cast on my foot. I've been using the mountain line the last 2 months, and I mentioned this project to a bus driver, and he just looked at me and kind of got slack in the jaw, like, how am I supposed to drive this bus through this road when these people who don't necessarily follow the rules anyways about parking are going to narrow the street down even more. I'd like to see more work done on Foothills Drive in particular about maybe not narrowing it down that far. I also don't think it's fair for me to foot the cost, but that's probably across the board for every property owner that's been put in this situation in this town.
Okay, so that was a homeowner talking about her concerns about putting in a sidewalk and narrowing the street. But John Wilkins comes in and gives his 2 cents, and it also, it also goes back to Doug Harvey. So let's just hear from John Wilkins and see what he has to say.
You know, I lived up on the corner of 23rd and 55th years ago, and that street had not changed since I lived there over 30 years ago. And people wanted sidewalks in, and we just couldn't figure out how to do it. And so I know a lot of planning has went into that, and a lot of thought. And I think it needs sidewalks, and you did the best that you can do in the situation you're in. So.
Doug? Just one quick comment regarding the duplexes and things. That was one of the reasons why we are narrowing the streets, because right now the duplexes have really 2 parking spaces on concrete, then they're parking in dirt and gravel on the sides. We're still allowing that. If we put the sidewalks back in the easement, those parking spaces would be too short to park on. They'd be less than 20 feet. We'd have the same situation we have up there on the south side of 55th. Parking has been removed from 23rd for a long time, ever since shortly after the school was built. So it's people that park on 23rd, and we'll have yellow curbs and things like that out there. It'll be much more defined than it is now. It's kind of a free-for-all on. And she's right, Foothills is a mess. People leaving their dumpsters out in the street and everything else. We're doing dedicated dumpster pads with roll-offs for the garbage people.
So that's the Public Works meeting. So they ended up moving that forward. And the next meeting we're going to talk about is administration and finance. But in terms of finance, I was at the community forum last night, and Mayor John Engen gave us 2 cents about the budget for the fiscal year of 2015. And I think the major points that it was harping on is that that there's a huge increase in the amount of money being put into the government, like all the salaries and stuff like that. And the big chunk of it is the $500,000 or so that's going into healthcare, ensuring their current employees to have health insurance. And of course, you and I know basically kind of like what's going on with that, because MCAT's also dealing with their own healthcare issues as well, in terms of like budget wise. Another thing he was talking about was that asphalt, apparently an interesting fact is that the cost of asphalt has increased more than doubled in the last I think it's like he says 3/4 of a decade, so the last 7 years.
the new asphalt for the nice roads have basically doubled. And one of the council members asked him, why can't we just use recycled asphalt? And John Engen was just like, well, I would show you the video, but other than that, I can just kind of briefly explain it. But basically, he said that the only use that we have for the recycled asphalt is for filling in potholes. And he told us that just in the last year, we filled about 4,000 potholes with this recycled, and we've saved so much money just by doing that. But then again, guys can look at the budget and how much money is going into anywhere. The judge's salary is going to increase, and there hasn't been an increase in our Missoula city's judges hasn't increased in the last 20 years, and they are, according to John Engen, are $20,000 less than neighboring cities that are just as big as us.
Wow. Well, that is some interesting stuff there.
What else do I want to quickly touch base on? And then if you look at here, it just says a general fund budget. There's going to be an increase of $525,365. So that's a 2.48 increase in dollars. There's going to be the health ends levy. That's only going to increase by $290, 0.01%. So that's not a huge deal. Go bond debt service levy. That's going to increase by $71,000. And you can see all this on. If you type in budget on the Missoula's website, you can find all that stuff. But anyways, that is what I learned from the community forum. And that's right, I should talk about the wastewater treatment plant, because the guy, what's his name? Oh man. Well, yeah. Anyways, the water treatment plant. They were talking about how a pet project basically turned into the spearhead of how our water is, recycled and no, I think it's like cleansed. Okay. Purified, water purifying plant, and the way they've done it is trees. And it's like the most natural way of doing it too, is that they use the trees to absorb all the water that's coming through, and they did a study that let's say about 200 or so trees, poplar trees, because that's the cheaper tree, is that those trees can absorb more than 1 million gallons of water a year.
And they kind of siphon it out, and
that helps siphon a lot of that water out. That's for a lot of flooding that's coming down the river, especially in the Mullen Trail area, because there was always some huge flooding problems in the River Road and Tower Street areas, because I remember I was there when they were dealing with that. But I kind of want to show a brief little video on this, and then we can continue on the city council. Okay. But this is the documentary that we did here at MCAT about the wastewater treatment plant.
My name is Star Sullivan. I'm the wastewater division superintendent for the city of Missoula, and we're going to be talking about a project we just completed called the headworks to the plant. That's where everything initially comes into the treatment plant, and that's where we start the treatment. We always have to evaluate the treatment facility, and to find out what's worn out, what needs to be replaced, what needs to be upgraded, what capacity needs we have. So the original headworks was put in the 1980s, and typically headworks are meant to last about 20 years. So we're well beyond the life cycle of that structure, that process. So this project actually started a few years ago. We identified that. So not only do you identify your needs, then you have to come up with the money. So with the economy and everything, we had to postpone this project a couple of times to do that. And I have to thank Brent Ramharder, the city finance officer, and Bruce Bender, who actually were able to put the financing together for this project. So we were able to proceed with that.
So that whole documentary is on YouTube. If you look at MCAT Channel 7 on YouTube, you can find our channel, and the City of Missoula Wastewater Treatment Headworks Project of 2012. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but Josh has the city council, more city council stuff. Oh, that's not it. There it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, we have, it looks like the lady from Donna
Gockler is, she talks about capital improvement programs, CIPs, and capital improvement programs, I'll just read it for you, is defined by the Montana legislature, who passed the legislation, allows a municipality to set aside funds from its general all-purpose levy for replacement and acquisition of property, plant or equipment costing in excess of $5,000 with a life expectancy of 5 years or more. These projects are classified as major improvements rather than routine maintenance or equipment replacement. The projects are reviewed and prioritized for the City Council. When funds are available, the City Council makes the final decision on what projects are implemented. A list of CIP projects will be updated on an annual basis as new needs become known and priorities change. And basically, during this administration and finance committee meeting, Donna Gockler from Parks and Rec sat down and gave a really long, extensive list of all these ideas for what they want to, these projects that they want to have funded through the capital improvement program.
Right.
So let's hear from Donna.
Okay. They should be in the same order for you, and I guess I'll spend more time on anything that's requested for this year or funded for this year and sort of skim through the rest. The first one is the aquatics CIP program, and you might recall that the aquatics facilities, Currents and Splash, are part of an aquatics enterprise fund, so it's a special fund set aside. There is a general fund contribution that we talked about last time, and as the staff is able to exceed the pro forma, the money is set aside in a reserve fund, if you will. It shows up in as a capital expenditure, and then those funds are used to do major cyclical maintenance. And so the request here shows some of the major cyclical maintenance scheduled for fiscal year 15. One is to replace the floating creature feature.
Okay, so that's Donna Gockler kind of introducing her list of projects, but while she's introducing it, she kind of gives a little rundown on how the funding works. And this next soundbite is Donna Gockler talking about the general obligation bonds group, $150,000 in budget for fiscal year 2015. So again, let's hear from Donna Gockler.
Yesterday, the friends groups that have been working with the city and county park systems since 2000 or earlier made a presentation to the Board of County Commissioners asking them to consider a general obligation bond issue in November. So I'm going to be bringing you a whole lot more detail, or I won't be, our friends groups will, and be contacting you directly. I just wanted to share that with you so that you're aware of what's going on. My guess is some of you have already received letters from them. The thing that
Okay, so that's Donna Gockler again, kind of giving a rundown on the financial situation. I see that we're at 9:29. Should we try to wrap up the show? Or go a little bit longer?
I kind of want to, let's keep the show going at least until 40 minutes in, because I want to show the interview with the Hasslers.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But
okay.
Other than that, let's just keep on going with what you're doing.
Okay, great. So John Wilkins gives information on bonds as a group. So he's kind of talking about how they review the funding process and how he would prefer to review the funding process as a group rather than as individuals. So let's hear from John Wilkins.
John?
I would request that when they come and give us the information on the bonds and stuff, that they don't do it individually. They come, so we do it as a group.
They'll definitely be here together.
Okay, because when you do it individually, to me, it just...
Agree.
It isn't right because the public's not involved. So
No. There'll be a full public process,
all right,
and you'll all be in control of that.
Great, thanks.
Marilyn. Here's Marilyn Marler, but we'll just listen.
So we got the email today from the Friends group. It looked like everyone on City Council got it. So
Are you going to help them make a referral to parks?
Yes.
That's the plan?
I've been working with Brian as
Okay.
co-chair to the Parks and Conservation Committee, and actually I shouldn't say I have been coaching the Friends on how the public process works so that we follow all of the city rules as it relates to public process. It's an initiative that is coming from our grassroots user groups and friends out in the community. They have been meeting with you individually. They've done all of their work. It's a larger Parks and Trails item county-wide, and they will be bringing that to you, and it'll go through your full process as well.
All right, so that's, again, they're talking about the process of how these capital improvement program funding works itself
Right.
out. So the next thing we're going to hear about is something that I kind of thought was interesting. They talked about how the MDT is allowing, or they help support fencing for underneath the bridges and walkways. And they talk about fencing as a way to keep people from camping.
When I think about fencing, I'm just like, I can see like a bunch of police officers with swords and just going.
Well, it involves police officers, but it involves police officers.
I know, not that cruel. No.
Yeah. Well, basically, I'll just let you listen to it. But basically, they're just talking about fencing to keep transients and homeless people from camping under the underpasses. So let's hear this.
John.
So is there any way that in this grant that can include the fencing on under the Madison Street Bridge?
So
because my understanding the MDT might pay for that.
So it's a completely different trail.
Okay.
The Madison Street Bridge is over that way, and this is along the Bitterroot.
I understand that.
And what we did to get fencing under the Orange Street Bridge is we contacted MDT directly, and they actually funded it for us. And so it seemed like there was some miscommunication.
Okay, so they're talking about fencing, and then this next soundbite, they're going to continue talking about fencing, and I just think it's interesting.
Well, I want to talk about fencing real quick. Sure. I did notice that they put a fencing on that bike path that goes over the tracks over there, just beyond Orange. You know that one giant pavilion.
The ramp.
Yeah, they added a little. They added a cage. I mean, a fenced cage right where they have the elevator.
Yeah. So
that's probably what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. They're fencing it off so people can't find shelter within these places. So that's how I see it. I don't know.
Yeah. It just sounds bad the way you said it.
Well, yeah.
Oh, people can't find shelter there.
But I guess the city sees it as a liability.
Yeah.
So again, we'll hear about the fencing here.
I'm sorry. I know John's question was off topic, but I just wanted to follow up. I don't know what you're talking about with fencing underneath the bridges.
Well, it's been suggested that we fence like we did underneath the Orange Street Bridge to keep people from actually going down and camping down in there.
So under each of the major roads that cross a river or another road, there's a flat space up and underneath the highway that's it's dry. It's a relatively good place to hang out all hours. And so one of the things that Officer Andy Roy asked, and as you know, he's the downtown officer, in order to help him manage where people are hanging out, he felt that fencing that in would be helpful. And you'll see that at the I-90 interchanges as you drive underneath. If you walk the Riverfront Trail along underneath Orange Street in McCormick Park, you'll see it fenced off, and it does help.
Yeah, so they're they're talking about fencing, and I just thought that was kind of an interesting subject to bring up during this whole thing.
Yeah, I hope. Fencing is good, but I can totally see it get way out of hand with fencing, because could you imagine if they fence off underneath Higgins Bridge, and then they would have the Clark Fork River Market ever?
Yeah.
It's just a joke. I don't know.
No.
I'm just talking through my butt right now. Anyways, this weekend is the Clark Fork River Market, the People's Market, and the Missoula Farmers Market, which is just over there.
Yep.
Which you know, you don't really have a sense of direction when you're on TV, but still, for us, it's over there, and Clark Fork River Market's over there, and so is the People's Market.
We're on North Higgins, so.
Right. So, I'm going to show an interview with the Hasslers, with Mr. Matt Hassler, that Josh got a chance to sit down with, and here it is. And this is for our show this weekend.
Yeah. Saturday,
May 24th at Stage 112.
Stage 112, 10 o'clock, free, totally free. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But let's see this interview. Hi, I'm Josh Menny. You're watching MCAT Spotlight. I'm here with Matt Hassler from the Hasslers. And we're going to talk about the Hasslers and how you guys are playing at our show on Saturday at Stage 112.
Absolutely.
How's it going, Matt?
Fantastic.
Great, great. Well, I guess the first start off is just like, how'd you start off with music?
You know, I started in Lewistown, Montana, just center of the state. You know, no one hears of it. They always think Lewiston, Idaho when I talk about it. And that's where most of the content from the songs comes from. It's just singing about living in a small town as opposed to, you know, hearing about city life all the time. And when I came to Missoula, I couldn't find anyone to really start a band with. I had a tough time getting people that were interested in playing and not making money right away, which is understandable. Everybody got to get paid. And I started as a one-man band is what happened. I would play kick drum with the foot and harmonica and banjo and had a tambourine like kind of tied to the other leg, and it was stupid is what it was.
What are some of the other performances you've done, like radio? Have you done any radio or TV or anything like that?
You know, not really anything like that. We've done some stuff for radio. I did creative writing stuff for a long time at the university, and so I would do a lot of performance pieces, just reading poetry and, doing readings at the Second Winds and stuff like that. And but as the band, we've only done a couple kind of radio spots and things like that. We sing a lot about just the old standards, you know, forlorn love, and we sing about drinking in small towns. The town of Lewistown comes up a lot. I'll have an idea for a song, and I'll usually write it with just 3 or 4 chords because I don't know that much about music, and then I'll bring it to the rest of the band. I'll say, here's what I got. This is the bare bones of it. And those guys, you know, most of them do jazz. They're jazz trained. They do all that kind of stuff. They know theory left to right, and so they'll flesh those songs out. They'll make something great on the music side of it. We'll throw some harmonies on top of it, and then practice till we decide what we like and we don't, and then we'll just do the whole thing again until we get a song out of it.
How many albums do you have? How many songs?
We have one full length that we put out a year and a half ago, just eponymous, titled The Hasslers. That one still sounds really folksy. That one I think has 12 songs on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you feel about your status in the Missoula music scene?
You know, it's weird. When we first started, we had this great momentum, I think especially because of the bluegrass thing. You know, people see a banjo in Missoula and they go nuts and they think, that's, you know, the coolest thing in the world, Steve Martin. The fan base is changing. And some of the fans that were there when we first started, I think, are maybe a little confused. But I think if they hang on, they'll get in the right direction with us.
Do you have any advice for musicians who are starting out, who are nervous and kind of?
Yeah, you just have to just play so much. I mean, that's the only thing I can tell them. It's just, I just did open mics as often as I could, open mic contests. If some guy stops in the street and says, hey, let's jam for 20 minutes, just sit down and jam with him. And he might teach you something, you might teach him something, but it's just worth playing music all the time.
How do you feel about this upcoming show?
This show's going to be rad. I like there's a mix of genres for this show, and that's something that's kind of tough to find in Missoula. If you go out to a bluegrass show, that's all you're going to see. And this one, I think we got a range. I mean, so you can come into a Smile and Boys, and it's going to be, people are not going to know what to think. It's going to be great. Just off the hook, it's going to be something different from Missoula, so yeah, I just hope everybody comes out and has a hell of a time and gets a little rowdy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the MCAT Spotlight, Matt.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching MCAT Spotlight.
Our
volume.
I just got lost in the interview. It was really good, and we're going to show all the interviews, all the bands, all the visual content at the show this Saturday. We were in the Independent on Thursday, so check us out. It's the streaming article. It's mostly about Gigi, but
yeah.
we're in it
Cool.
towards the end. But anyways,
good deal.
Let's show the web
let's
page.
Show the Facebook page.
Our Facebook page. We don't have much time left, and if you want to know more about our show, like us on Facebook. We have everything you ever want from our show on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Each show, pictures, just a lot of great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so you should definitely, and if you ever want to voice your opinion about the show or about any of the issues that we talk about, you can always go onto our Facebook page. Maybe we should be asking more questions on our Facebook page.
We should probably ask more questions on our Facebook page. How's your day going? This is good. Anyways, but for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramph.
And I'm Josh Minnie. Thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you.